Hi, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to today's LionSide Chat. We'll be getting started in just a moment here. Go ahead and check your audio devices, and we'll be starting soon. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. You are about to attend our inaugural session of the Penn State Berks LionSide Chat Resources Roundtable. Come on in and welcome to our campus. We're so glad you could join us. My name is Sonia Delaquedo, and I'm one of 3 LionSide Chat moderators working alongside Dawn Pfeiffer-Wrights and Dr. Ryan Hassler. Before we get started, we wanted to share that you should please feel free to submit questions throughout the program via the Q&A feature. We will not be utilizing the raise hand feature today. Once the presentation concludes, however, we will facilitate a discussion with our panelists. We'll also be recording today's session, so you can revisit the topic or even share the experience with friends and family. That being said, I am now excited to introduce Ms. Felicia Nelson, who will be facilitating our resources roundtable today on campus life, residence life, and housing and food services. Felicia?
Thank you, Sonia. Welcome, everyone. For those that do not know, my name is Felicia Nelson. I am the coordinator of student activities in the Office of Campus Life. Thanks so much for joining us on our first roundtable discussion series. Today, we have a representative from Campus Life, Residence Life, and Housing and Food Services. And today is all about answering the questions that you have for our respective offices. We're going to have an introduction where each panelist will introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their office and what they offer at our Berks community. Once all of the introductions have been done, we will then begin taking questions. So in the Q&A feature on the chat, if you have any questions that you would like to start rolling in, we will start collecting it and we will make sure to answer the questions as best as we can. So without further ado, I'm going to throw it over to Miss Angie DiGiacomo to talk about Office of Campus Life.
Thanks so much, Felicia. As she said, my name is Angie DiGiacomo. I'm the Assistant Director of Life here at Penn State Berks. So our services areas that we cover, as you can see on the slide, are quite a few. So we oversee clubs and organizations, a lot of the leadership programs on campus. We coordinate mentorship opportunities, the arts and lecture series, our campus activities board, which is our premier programming board on campus. We have a senior class council. We have our pre-orientation program, family and homecoming weekend, the leadership banquet, welcome weekend, community service opportunities, alternative spring break, and then of course we have our Title IX resources. And should you make some poor decisions while you are at Penn State Berks, we also oversee student conduct, as well as Stanford State and off-campus housing. All of those areas and services that we offer, of course, we have quite a robust staff in the Office of Campus Life. So our Director of Campus Life is Sandra. Again, I am the Assistant Director for Campus Life. Autumn Fritz, who's our Assistant Director of Community Development. You've probably seen her either performing community service opportunities or during orientation and welcome weekend, and several other areas. Felicia Nelson, who you just heard from, is our student activities coordinator. And of course, she oversees our campus activities board, our senior class council, and our game room, which I'll talk about a little bit in a bit. And then Sandy McEwen, who is really the rock of our staff. She's our administrative assistant. And without her, our worlds would not go around. So, you know, we do have an Instagram. We encourage you to follow us to kind of keep track of things that are happening on campus. Our office also produces the This Week at Berks email that comes to your inbox every Sunday evenings around 8 o'clock p.m. At any point, if you do need to reach out to us, you can email any of us. You'll see all of our emails on the slide there. You can also call our office, which is 610 396-6076. Make sure to put that out there for you. And our hours of operation are mostly 8 to 5. However, because of the nature of our work, we do work many, many late nights. We have moved to a virtual setting this semester, but are available to set up Zoom appointments at any point to meet with students, faculty, or staff on campus. Our office is located in Perkins Student Center 19. However, we are split up a little bit. So Felicia Nelson and Autumn Fritz, their office is currently / temporary in Perkins room 12. And our game room, because of the construction, had to be moved to Perkins 117. So we're kind of scattered throughout the Perkins building, but our hub is Perkins 19, which is right near the health center right now, the admissions office kind of down that way. And I will pass the baton off to, I'm not quite sure who is next, Mark Yu, there we go.
Hello, folks. I'm Mark Q. Black. I'm the Assistant Director for Residence Life. And I just want to just say welcome, and hopefully I'm able to answer some questions and able to talk a little bit about what Residence Life does. You know, one of the things I always say is, as you folks can hear from Tom Henry from Housing and Food Services, we're more involved in your day-to-day, making sure that, again, from having issues involving mental health to having just some general questions about just transition into collegiate life, and also making sure we're able to take care of your day-to-day. That's what our job is to do. So I'll be able to talk a little bit about our operation. So, you know, we're always about, you know, giving people the opportunity to express their culture, and also giving people the ability to be able to express what they're feeling, and also talk about, you know, that from that transition standpoint. You know, if you have any questions, we're able to answer those things as you move through your collegiate life. We're all about making sure that, again, if you're having a hard time working through mental health, if you're having a hard time just adjusting, as we talked about, to transition into the academic side, we're here to answer questions. We're here to walk you to those respective resources, or get you in touch with those respective resources, as we're in COVID right now. Normally, you know, if a student's having some trouble in class or having some issues, we would walk a student down to the writing center, or we would we'll get students in touch with our office for students with disabilities. But those offices are not physically here, but they're also answering emails and doing Zoom, and we're here to make sure we're able to help students guide to those locations. We are on call 24/7. There's always a professional staff member, such as myself, and I'm going to talk about my staff in a moment, that is always on call 24/7. We also work in tandem with our mental health and campus life, and also working with university police. Our offices and operations have changed a little bit because of COVID, but I'm going to be able to talk about those things. We work in a 2-on, 2-off system within our office. There's always 2 professional staff members that are in office and 2 professional staff members that are working remotely. We do that because of health and safety right now. So but we always have someone physically in the office at all times to make sure we're able to answer questions and respond to any type of emergency that may arise within the residence halls. As you see our phone number down there, we are at 610-396-6290. That is our main line. It goes to all of us in the office. We are also on our remote, what we call Jabber, where we're able to answer the phone regardless of if no one's physically sitting in the office. We're able to answer the phone, and also able to provide answers and provide guidance and help people navigate to wherever they need to go. As you see on the bottom here with the contact information, I always like to plug plug my staff, because I think that we have the best residence life staff in the Commonwealth. So I always like to plug them. Our village coordinator, Matt Carr, our woods coordinator, Miss Ivy Wang, my rock and always, you know, with me all the time, Ms. Ronnie Bogle, who's our administrative support assistant. She's not on here right now, but if you ever come to the office, you'll notice a lady back there who has a very wonderful, nice British voice. Her name is Ronnie Bogle, and she's always kind and always willing to help, and always will be there for you. So please, you know, if you ever stop by the office, she's always here. We still maintain our operations in the back office with providing vacuum cleaners and and brooms and dustpans to make sure students are able to clean and stay up on their operations. Trash bags and toilet paper we still also provide back there. Just swing on by. If you can't get a hold of us, you can always contact the duty phone, and the duty phone will go directly to us. And please make sure that we're able to provide any type of assistance that you need. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Henry for Housing and Food Services coming up next.
Thanks, Mark Q. Again, my name is Tom Henry. I'm representing the team of Housing and Food Services. So I just want to welcome everybody to the webinar. A little bit about the services that we provide for Housing and Food Services. From a dining perspective, obviously we're overseeing all dining on campus. So we're overseeing the Tully's operation. We also oversee the Cyber Cafe. We also do all catering on campus when there is catering. From the housing side of things, we are quite involved. As Mark Q said, housing from our side is more of the bricks and mortar of the picture. So our folks are dealing with issues in the dorms if there's no heat, conflicts like that. We also oversee the mailroom, so we do all the packages for all of our residential students. And then we also do the ID function. So if you lose your ID or as soon as you get your new ID, that is part of our offices as well. So our offices are located on the second floor of Perkins. So we pretty much have the entire length of the hallway across from Tully's. So we are here 7 days a week, and we are on call just like the folks of Residence Life. If you do have issues in your residence hall, for example, again, there's no heat in the middle of the night, you would first notify Residence Life, and then our folks would be notified, and then we would bring in staff in the middle of the night for any issues. Our main office is located, again, across from the dining center. We're here 7 days a week, mainly Monday through Friday. We're here 8 to 4:30. And then we do have Saturday and Sunday hours. Usually about 8 p.m. there's a manager in the office. On the screen, you'll see our Tully's cafeteria hours. We do a late night service Monday through Thursday where we are open until 9 o'clock. Fridays and Saturdays, we're open till 6:30 in the evening. And then again, Sundays, we're back to late night and we have a service until 9 o'clock. Hours of operation for the Cyber Cafe, we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 1:30. Quick overview of our staff. We typically have 5 members on our management team. Right now, we are down to 4. We have an acting interim director, Linda McDuff. We have a managing chef, Joe Ertel. Manager of housing is Leslie Fazio. And again, my name is Tom Henry. I do those food services side of things. And helping us hold our end together are our 2 staff assistants, Kim Darlington and Jamie McAllister. So those are the 2 folks. Jamie and Kim are the folks that you would see right when you walk in our offices. They're answering any questions as you come in, any phone calls, contract questions, assignments, things like that, are all dealt with through Kim and Jamie. So that's a quick overview of our offices. So I believe I'm going to hand it back over to Felicia.
Great. Thank you, panelists, for introducing yourselves and talking briefly about your office. So now we're going to open up to a Q&A. I know so many people have many questions right now, especially with what we're doing in the pandemic. So like I mentioned before, if you do have a question that you would like to ask one of our panelists, use the Q&A feature in your tab there on your Zoom call, and you can ask any questions as you would like. I'm first going to start off a question for everyone, especially since we have been in the pandemic for almost a year now. How have your operations have changed during the pandemic?
I'll go ahead and get started. Oh, sorry, Mark. You. Okay, thank you. So thank you, Felicia, for asking the question. So outside, I talked a little bit in my introduction about how we as an office have a virtual setting. But in addition to that, the pandemic has resulted in us moving a lot of our programming to a virtual platform as well. So that also includes a lot of the marketing and things that we've done to really get the word out about what's going on campus and ways that you can still connect and engage with other students in our community. So it's really, really imperative that as a student, you kind of advocate for those opportunities and check things like This Week at Berks, or the campus activities calendar that Felicia and her office produces, as well as, you know, utilizing a lot of the other resources that Penn State Berks has for you to stay up to date with what's going on. And that includes the Student Life Canvas page, in which that, you know, you can sign up for to get alerts that way. You know, if you're living in the residence halls, talking to your RAs about things that are going on in the buildings and on campus and things like that. So it's really imperative that you kind of seek out some of the things, because it's not as easy for you as a student when you're not on campus and you see, you know, flyers and posters and things like that. So in many ways, that has really adjusted the way that our office kind of conducts a lot of the programming, which is primarily what we do, but also, you know, getting the word out about things.
You know, I'll probably say here in Residence Life, piggybacking off of a lot of things that AJ Giacomo talked about here, you know, our bread and butter is in-person program, much like it is in campus life. Our bread and butter is seeing people and getting people together and just celebrating, you know, celebrating in close contact with each other, and we're not able to do that right now. We have switched to a virtual programming model here in Residence Life, and we understand and we note that students are around a lot of computer screens all day, and you know, we note that, but we also still want to provide some type of outlet to not be a class, so you're able to talk amongst your peers and still get to be able to make connections, get to know people. Unfortunately, you know, we understand and note that, you know, a lot of students do not check their emails. We note that we know that's our primary way of communication right now, and so, you know, we sometimes struggle to make sure we're getting the word out, but we are still providing an opportunity. And once we're able to get through the start of the semester, as we've moved back to in person, we're able to see where exactly, you know, working with health services and our director of student affairs, Joe Webb, and our chancellor, Dr. Grant, see where our positivity rate is here on campus, and try to see what can we do in person, and what those parameters are. We definitely want to try to get people back in person. You know, that's something we miss. All of us on this screen, we miss, and we want to come back. But again, we just continue to just kind of adjust and try to still provide an opportunity for programming within the residence halls.
Yeah, same with housing and food services. Just like everybody else, we miss everybody on campus. You know, we miss our dining halls being packed with, you know, students and eating lunches, and you know, lots of noise and laughter going on. Again, some of the major changes, obviously, in our seating area is just a reduction of seating. You know, we're about half capacity, which you probably don't notice too much right now with our reduction of numbers that are of students living on campus. But you know, we have removed about half the number of seating, chairs and tables. From inside the cafeteria, we're missing our salad bar. Most folks, you know we have a giant made to self-serve salad bar, one of the most popular stations we have. So obviously that's been eliminated. Just a little bit of a reduction on some of the stations just due to the numbers. We continue to sanitize and clean high touch areas. You know, every hour or so we have staff going around, you know, cleaning and sanitizing doorknobs and handles and everything like that. Residence halls, kind of the same way. You know, all the housing folks are cleaning and sanitizing. Probably the biggest change up there, obviously, was arrival. You know, normally arrival is kind of a little bit more of a free for all, but you know, this time around, you know, in August and again in, you know, just recently, was a very formal, organized process. Everybody had to have a check-in time, so we really limited the amount of people that were arriving on campus at any given time, and that's how checkout it was back in the spring semester last spring as well. You know, very clean, organized as far as numbers. Felicia?
Great, thanks everyone for answering that question. I know that's been one of the first questions we get asked, or what are we doing right now in the pandemic? So thank you everyone for answering that question. So I have a question here for Tom. When can students begin requesting housing for the 2021-2022 school year?
Excellent question, and that was actually the question I submitted. The process is actually open now, so you can go log on to eLiving at any day. It's an open process right now. It'll go on for the next month and a half, and then it'll shut down closer to the end of the school year. Typically around May, we shut the process down and begin assignments. You can go on, request individual rooms. You can also request any roommates if you have a specific roommate in mind. That can all be added through your request through eLiving. But very important to get on eLiving sooner than later to request that contract for next year. So that's a great question.
Thank you, Tom. Angie, this question is for you. You talked a little bit about the activities calendar. You talked about flyers. Can you also talk about how students can find out about programs that are happening on campus? Can you talk a little bit more about how they can find out?
Right. So yeah, absolutely. We outside of the things that I've kind of already mentioned, right? Checking your email for This Week at Berks. And if you are not getting those emails, send me your name. Let me know so I can make sure that you're added on there. As well as checking, like Felicia said, the campus activities calendar, which, being that we're in a virtual setting, looks a little bit different this year than it has in the past, right? In the past, we had the ability to kind of print physical calendars out for students. But since, we've maintained a virtual setting, we now send that out with This Week at Berks, in addition to putting it kind of everywhere that we can. So that includes also this, like I mentioned before, the Student Life Canvas page. So those alerts will come directly to your email anytime an announcement is made, just like one of your classes, right? So if you enroll in that page, you really can stay up to date with not just the Office of Campus Life program, but programming across the board, right? Programming from Miss Peterson Olgadez in her office, off-campus housing things, residential life, as well as information specific to commuters. So if you're interested in signing up for the Canvas page, please let me know, or let Miss Felicia Nelson know, as she oversees a lot of the operations from that page. In addition to that, if and when we are on campus, or you are on campus now, we've got bulletin boards kind of floating around all of campus that we're constantly hanging flyers on. And again, not just for campus life, but for all areas of Berks, right? And that includes clubs and organizations, SGA, residence life, housing and food services, right? All of the things that we offer, typically get plastered on those bulletin boards. And then there are TV monitors throughout campus in all of the buildings, in which we collect and add to what we call it as the digital display. So there's information there as well. And Felicia, I don't think I'm missing anything else. I think that's about it. The other big thing now for students that I'll encourage you all is start following us on social media. So Campus Life does have an Instagram account, but there's also Facebook accounts. Our campus activity board, they also have their individual Instagram accounts. And then Penn State Berks has their own Twitter and Instagram and Facebook page. So follow all of those, and you'll be guaranteed to find out what's going on campus.
Great, thank you, Angie. Marquis, this question is for you. So right now, there were a lot of policy changes that have happened in residence life. Would you be able to briefly talk about some of the changes that you usually get questions about, and then talk about why they are put into place?
Absolutely. I think for those living on campus, one of the huge, I'll probably say, changes has been is the visitation guest policy, and And I will say I sympathize with I sympathize as being both myself and the coordinators who all live on campus here as well, that not having guests come over to your be allowed into the residence halls, as well as not being able to go to another residence hall to be able to visit someone. And I know we've gotten a lot of questions about that, and students have been inquiring into it, and not much has changed from the fall into the spring semester. And I always try to say this, as we make these decisions, I say we, a university, as we make these decisions are all based from science, right? Every decision that we make is based on the purpose and the main direction of making sure we're maintaining health and safety in the residence halls. And these decisions are made to mitigate the opportunity for a large to mitigate an opportunity for a large cluster to happen within the residence halls. And again, some of these policies, again, are not everlasting. They will end. Hopefully by fall of 21, it will get better. Spring of 22 into fall of 22, it will get better as the science gives us better data and better information. Will give us better opportunity to be able to loosen things up and get back to that sense of normalcy that for incoming freshmen was not here, and for returners will come back. And we definitely want to try to be able to get there. But we've also got some inquiries into our into the community kitchen in the residence halls in the woods. And we note that students want to, I wish all students would be able to use that. Unfortunately, going back to, that data and going back to that science, they're telling us that the opportunity for contact tracing from one residence hall to another puts the community at risk. Again, always coming back to the community and make sure that we're looking at what's going to keep that positivity rate down. That's the reason why we had to move into the direction of the kitchen just being for Woods residents. I wish it was open up for everyone, but that seemed to be where that landed on. But again, from the visitation policy to that kitchen, just going to bringing guests back into the residence halls, all those will end at some time. It is what the science tells us, and also to making sure that, again, we're keeping the community safe. And so I hope that in the fall of 21, it's going to go away. I know both myself and other assistant directors and our senior director up at University Park, we're working day in and day out to try to find a way to make sure we're able to bring that back, but do it in a safe manner. It's going to protect the community.
Great. Thank you, Mark Yu. Tom, this question is for you. Do dining dollars carry over to the next school year?
Another great question. So your dining dollars and your meal plan funds will carry over from fall to spring, but they do not carry over to the following school year. So very important to kind of manage your account and your funds. Every time you come through our lines and our registers, you will see your declining balance. So you will always know exactly where you're at as far as your total funds. Great thing about Penn State and their meal plans is that we do allow you to move up or down with your meal plan level up until the very last day of class. So if you're currently on a level 3 or a level 2 and you have a lot of funds, your funds would have carried over again from fall to spring. So very important to get onto the website, the ID Plus website, check and make sure you're at a level 1. So those funds will then be credited back to your account now. In May, we do bulk sales. So we do cases of water and cases of Gatorade and things like that. So we do give everybody an opportunity to use any available funds that they have before they leave. But again, if you manage those funds wisely and make sure you're lowering your meal plan, you won't have that excess amount of money at the end of the semester. So again, another good question.
Thank you, Tom. Please feel free to share any questions that you have in our Q&A feature. We still have time to gather additional questions from you all. Angie, this is for you. What are ways that students can get involved on campus?
Oh, my Lanta, where do I start? So that's a great question, Felicia. Thank you for asking. Well, at the start of every semester, fall and spring, we do offer what's called Club Rush, which is an involvement fair, giving students the opportunity to interact and engage with club leadership on campus. Beyond that, really, I encourage folks, again, to check this week at Berks. Lately, we've been adding more and more club meeting times for folks to just kind of jump right onto. Our Clubs and Orgs webpage gives a thorough list of all of the active clubs that we offer at Penn State Berks. Now, I say that with caution. Penn State Berks affords students the opportunity to explore their passions and interests at any time. So if you don't see a club on there that you find interesting or passionate about, please come talk to me. As part of my job responsibilities, I assist students with the creation of their own clubs on campus. I've seen many clubs get created in the time that I've been here at Penn State Berks. And I personally think the process for creating a club is not difficult. It's pretty simple. So please come chat with me about ways that we can grow that and possibly expand our clubs and organizations. I always say that if you have a passion and interest in it, more than likely there's some other student who shares similar passions. So that's definitely another way to get involved. But maybe you're more athletically. So I definitely encourage folks to either explore some of our club sports that are offered, or if you're ready to jump into like NCAA things, definitely talk to our athletics office. Lisa Deibler is the director of athletics at Penn State Berks, and I'm sure she'd be more than willing and happy to answer any questions about that. Our clubs do range from, like I said, club sports, but we also have academically focused clubs, as well as social interests. And that includes culture, religion, animals, really, like the spectrum is pretty broad. Maybe you're not quite sure where you fit in as far as clubs and orgs go, in which case I always encourage students to start with some of our bigger clubs on campus. And that includes, our Berks Benefiting Thon organization or our Campus Activities Board organization. Those are two very big premier organizations on campus that if you're really just kind of looking to connect with other students or engage in our community in a different way, that's definitely an avenue to explore. So really, check out that clubs and orgs page. Come talk to me or Felicia or, our cohort, Autumn Fritz, who oversees a lot of our service stuff. And we'd be more than happy to, kind of direct you to one of those. Another option for you is to attend our Student Government Association meetings. Those happen every Wednesday during Common Hour. They are open to any student, but there our SGA senators are made up of club leadership. So again, another avenue for you to explore some of the opportunities offered through our student government.
Great, thank you, Angie, for answering those questions. Answering that question. We did have a question come through our chat feature. Woohoo! Are there any employment opportunities offered in any of these areas? So this is an open question to all three of you.
I will jump in on that because I'm always advertising for student employment. Housing and Food Service is actually the biggest employer of students on campus. We typically hire anywhere on a normal year, pre-COVID, 50 to 60 student employees. Right now I have about 20, but nice thing about us is that we hire work study and non-work study. So either way, we will interview and hire. We have flexible schedules like everybody else. I have students that work from 7:30 in the morning typically up until 10 o'clock at night, and we're 7 days a week. So typically students just turn in their class schedules, and then based on availability, we hire students. again, all semester long. As long as you're staying with us, you can carry over from semester to semester. So I do have some students work all 4 years with me, and we do offer some advancement opportunities. We have student supervisors and student managers and such. So always looking for student employees with housing and food services.
Here in Residence Life, we offer the resident assistant position that is offered to students in the fall. It's offered for students for the fall semesters. And we have what we call our Higher Ed 302 class that is offered to any candidate who wants to embark on that journey to be a resident assistant. We do information sessions in the fall. You have to go to an information session in order to get access to the class, and then go through the class to go through the evaluation and then ultimately the selection process into being a resident assistant for the fall semester. If you are not selected, if you're not selected right after the class, do not let that be a discouraging moment. We have what we call the alternate pool, where we pull students during the summer. The summer is a 2.5-3 month long journey itself. Okay, and we know that things happen during the summer. We know students make decisions, and we know just overall life happens. And so with that being said, we do have a lot of students that are in our alternate pool. Some students who are RAs currently right now came from our alternate pool. So don't ever feel discouraged about not being selected right after the class. So so we do offer that up here in Residence Life if you are interested in that opportunity.
All right. And Campus Life actually does offer 2 different student employee positions. They are work study positions, so a little bit different. You would have to qualify for work study, but we have the game room attendant position, which are meant specifically for students who have an interest maybe in overseeing our game room space. So they would help with the operations of the game room, as well as any tasks indicated by Felicia. And sometimes that means, organizing and helping us with gaining student interest. Our other position we offer in Campus Life is our Campus Life assistant position. So those folks work directly up in Perkins 19 between 8 and 5 roughly during the day. And they assist us with all kinds of things, from creating promotional materials to assisting us with hanging up flyers and posters throughout campus, organizing. Again, it's really a well-rounded assistant position. But again, both of those would need to qualify for work study. And then Felicia, I'm going to go ahead and hop right into the next question that was put in the Q&A, if you don't mind. The question was, are there any opportunities to learn more about how to be an effective student leader? And I apologize again, Felicia, I didn't want to steal your thunder, but it's kind of fresh in my head. So Marquise was mentioning a little bit about the RA class, which is that, CNED 302. In addition to that class, there are other courses offered mostly through student affairs. We have CNED 304, CNED 301, and like Marquise said, 302 as well. 304 and 301 are both classes to gear you up for the possibility of becoming a mentor on campus. So we have our aspiring scholars mentors, we have our first year mentors, we have our intercultural mentors. So again, a lot of opportunities for you to enhance your student leadership on campus. In addition, we do offer a leadership program called Pause for Success, which cover a variety of topics as it relates to leadership. And then, of course, if you get involved with clubs and orgs, there's the natural ability to step into a leadership role within there as well.
Great. Thank you, Angie. I do have, there is, more questions. Love it. So this question is for Marquise as well as Angie. What are some engagement opportunities that are offered over the weekends? Because we do have some students that do stay on campus over the weekends. We always get that question all the time. So I wanted to open the floor up for both of you to answer that question.
Oh yes, absolutely. Our RAs put on programs over the weekends. It's not every single weekend, but they do offer weekend programming. They do take suggestions for weekend programming. Unfortunately, as we talk about where we are right now during COVID, it's going to be a lot virtual right now until we can receive guidance that it's okay to start doing some small less than 10-person gatherings. And what we've looked at in kind of tweaking our programming model, we will do small programs that are 10 people or less, and we'll do multiple sessions of that program just to make sure we're trying to get everyone on the floor, everyone on that respective wing involved in something to do in the afternoons. Our coordinators, both Ivy Wang and Matt Carr, do put on programs, large scale weekend programs once a month. So Ivy is going to be coordinating with Miss Felicia Nelson and a program coming up here really soon. And Matt Carr will be putting on Springfest. It's a transition from our Rocktoberfest that we could not do in the fall. He'll be doing Springfest in April. That will be an opportunity for students who play instruments and also have some unique talents to be able to display those to the community. And that's going to be held on our village quad area where it's a large green space. We'll be able to socially distance, and we'll set things up to make sure we're honoring that. We're honoring those health concerns and those health guidelines. But we do put on program virtual right now. We will hopefully be able to transition to in person, but we're trying to do as much as we can on the weekends to provide again that kind of separation from and decompression from stress and academics. So we're doing things on the weekends.
Thanks, Marquis. In addition to all of the residence life programming, our office facilitates a lot of virtual programming right now. And again, I got to give a shout out to our campus activities board because they are facilitating, 2-3 programs a week. Yes, they are virtual. Yes, it is difficult to, log into another Zoom when you've been in so many Zoom meetings for your classes and things. But again, we are constantly looking for ways to connect and engage students with the other students in the community. So in addition to, some of the, fun virtual programs we have, like Crazy Bob bingos and trivia with Kahoot, we also offer some make and take programs as well, and that's an opportunity for you to kind of decompress and do something, with your hands versus staring at a screen, as that's an option as well. We do, of course, offer opportunities for folks to make and take their items as a group via Zoom if folks are interested in that as well. And then we're hoping in March, we'll be able to offer both in-person programs as well as virtual programs. So like we did in the fall leading up to Thanksgiving, what we try to do is, provide a space on campus for students to participate in person, but as well for our students who, are at home to engage as well. So we're gonna continue to work on kind of doing the dual method of in-person and virtual throughout the spring semester, and really hoping to look forward to having all on-campus programming in the fall. So it's imperative for folks to stay safe and be careful and all of that fun stuff.
Thank you, Marquis and Angie, for answering that question. So I have 2 more questions to ask. One more had just come through the chat here, so I wanted to make sure to acknowledge your question. When do you recommend students getting involved on campus, both employment and leadership?
Right away. You've just got accepted into Penn State Berks. What are you going to do? Get involved. You know, we may be a little biased over here with this group of people, but we encourage students to, like I said, jump into it, get involved right away. I guarantee those students who connect in their first semester on campus are going to be more successful, right, at Berks, because they're networking, because they're connecting with other students and connecting with faculty and staff on campus as well. So again, you know, we offer the Club Rush in August. We offer a Club Rush in January. And as far as employment goes, I know, you know, food services and our office, you know, we're looking throughout the summer, right, as well. So if you're a first-year student looking to get a job, get involved on campus, start reaching out to our offices, you know, ahead of time. We'd be more than happy to kind of share information on how to do those things before you even arrive.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Angie said, and that's as soon as you come on campus. And again, I think one of the big things is ask questions. You know, when you network and you get a chance to be around other students, ask questions. Don't, you know, one of the huge pieces to having that opportunity, especially as we get back into that sense of normalcy, right, is to be able to ask questions and be able to say, hey, where can I go? How can I get there? I will say and plug the, you know, the Hyatt 302 class and students that are in that class that want to be RAs. One of their biggest influences in joining our class is my RA talked to me about it. My RA let me know about this. My RA talked to me. And that's because you were asking questions. You took the opportunity to see what it's all about. And then you took the next step to go ahead and make that happen for yourself. And when it comes to leadership and it comes to employment, taking leadership opportunities where you're not getting paid will sometimes pave the way to get paid, right? To give you that opportunity. So you're going to have to just ask those questions. And again, you know, take a leap and take a step outside your comfort zone and do some things you're not used to. So ask questions, just ask questions. And as Angie said, start right away. Don't take a moment. Don't take a moment to say, oh, I'll get to it next week. Just get to it right now and see where it goes.
All right, great. And the last question is from Sonia.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much to our panelists. I've been sitting here listening, and I mean, I've gotten to work with each of you at Berks, you know, pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID. We'll keep that going. But I was thinking, I would like, if you're okay with it, if you're comfortable, can you share like what's special about Penn State Berks? Like what keeps you going? Like knowing, other than hopefully this will all go away eventually, tell our audience a little bit about like what makes Penn State Berks so special.
Well, I'll get started. Thank you, Sonia. So the students, man, the students make Penn State Berks special. You know, through the other word I would use to describe our community is resilient, man. You know, through this pandemic, we stayed strong. Our community has stayed connected. Our students are with us through and through, and they're going to excel through this pandemic and come out even better and stronger for it. So I would definitely say Berks is special because of our students. I just love this community, and I think it really speaks volumes when our students come in, you know, and they come in with the intention of, you know, maybe doing a 2+2, right? They spend 2 years at Berks and then go to another campus to finish their degree. And I have met so many students at the end of their second year here, they're like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here, right? And they stay for the full 4 years or 5 years, or however long it takes, you know? And it's just a wonderful and beautiful thing to watch because, you know, we've got a close-knit community, right? And we're all here to support one another, and that's what makes us special.
I would say we're, you know, one giant family. community, family. I'm going to echo everything that Angie said. Many of us, who work here spend, just as many hours on campus as we do at home. So there's weeks that we see students more than we see our family. So, it truly is, an extended family. It's just one real big community.
Yeah, I throw it out there. The students, all of you are awesome. And we are a family, and you know, you always want to hear from people. Well, you talk about it, right? But we like to just kind of be about it. And I said to say, it snowed a couple of days ago, right here in the parking lot. A bunch of students had shovels. They're out there shoveling each other's cars out, right? And and they're helping each other. And I think I think that's just awesome. And I say, and I echo Tom, and I tell residents sometimes, and it is true. For those of you who don't know, I live, my parents live in Louisiana, and I talk to students more than I talk to my mother. I think that's weird, right? But again, we're here, and I think from my standpoint, what makes my last point, what makes this place so great um, is that when we had the campus closure and we were not able to get back here, I sit in one of our COVID talks, and every single staff member and faculty member said that they can't wait till students to get back here. They want to see students again. They want we want to interact. We want to we want to hear from you. We want to see you, and I think that is just testament to the commitment that everyone has to get back to a sense of normalcy, as Sonia talked about. Not have it. We definitely want to get the post COVID. But again, even in a COVID world right now, we are still operating as if it is not here, but still, keep staying safe. But we're still trying to just make it normal as we can during this time right now.
Great. Thank you so much. Great answers today too. I really appreciate your honesty and your time spent with us, because I know how busy everybody is. So that being said, I would like to thank you to Felicia and friends with us today. I, for one, am feeling more well-rounded in my knowledge surrounding the Penn State Berks campus resources. And a special thank you to all joining us for today's LionSide Chat. As you click out of our webinar, you're going to receive access to a survey. Please take a few minutes required to complete the survey to let us know what you thought about today's chat, and perhaps even offer some ideas for future chats as well. You're encouraged to reach out to us via email, and we remind you to keep checking our website as we're always adding new chats. Now, our next resources roundtable chat will be on Monday, March 8th at 12:15, but there's actually a second chat today, Discovering Engineering. It's at 7 o'clock tonight. So if you're interested, hop on our website, or you can catch us later on our video link. So be sure to come back soon and meet with other faculty, staff, or students to learn about the Penn State Berks campus. And stay safe, Berks and beyond. Signing off until next time, this has been the Penn State Berks LionSide Chats.
Thank you so much, LionSide Chat.
Thank you, guys. Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Stay safe, okay?
Thank you to the Quality of Life Committee that came up with this idea, as well as the Student Success and Retention Committee that collaborated on this idea as well. So we really happy that we were able to do our first one today, and looking forward to our next one, which is with someone from financial aid, as well as finance and the bursar's office.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Take care.